Hi, my name is Indigo Lane, and I am incredibly excited and honestly a little nervous to share this piece with you today. This short film script, Tangle, has been a long and evolving project, one that started as one thing and slowly transformed into something else entirely. Originally, when I first began writing this, I imagined it as a horror story. I was fascinated by the idea of how far someone might go to hold on to the people that they love. How love, when mixed with desperation, can become something twisted and terrifying. But as I kept writing, I realized that what I was exploring wasn't really horror, it was grief. And grief in its own way can be just as haunting. When we lose someone, especially suddenly, we tend to fixate on finding the truth. We tell ourselves that if we could just understand what happened, if we could just piece together the facts, the circumstances, and the final moments, then maybe it would hurt less. Maybe the knowledge would somehow fill the space that the person left behind. But the reality is, truth doesn't necessarily bring comfort. Knowing how or why someone is gone does not change the fact that they're gone. And what we're really searching for in our grief isn't answers. It's something to hold on to in the aftermath. It's something that makes the loss feel less empty. That's the heart of Tangle. The story follows Lenora and Bates, two high school students who have always been rivals. They come from different worlds, they challenge each other constantly, and the only thing they've ever truly had in common is their shared ex, Mooney. When Mooney is murdered, they find themselves thrown together in a way that neither of them ever expected. Mooney was queer, and she died because she uncovered a secret that she wasn't supposed to know. The two star football players who murdered her did so to keep their own relationship hidden. A tragic and all too real reflection of the way internalized shame and societal pressures can turn violent. Lenora and Bates have to work through their own bitterness, their own guilt, and their own grief to figure out what happened to her. At first, it's about finding justice, finding answers. But as they dig deeper, they start to realize that this isn't just about uncovering Mooney's secrets. It's about confronting their own feelings for her and for each other. It's about acknowledging the parts of themselves that they weren't ready to face when she was alive. Throughout the story, we see how different people experience grief, how it manifests in anger, in obsession, in detachment. Lenora is someone who throws herself into the mystery as a way of avoiding the weight of her emotions. Bates, on the other hand, wants to move forward, to process things in a way that feels more tangible. They both represent different ways people try to cope with loss. And at the core of their journey is this realization that no amount of truth will bring Mooney back. No amount of investigating or searching or uncovering hidden details will change the fact that she's gone. And yet, they keep searching, because that's what we do. Grief doesn't resolve neatly. It doesn't wrap up with a satisfying conclusion. Even when Lenora and Bates uncover the truth, even when justice is served, it doesn't erase the loss. It doesn't make it easier, but it does shift. The grief doesn't go away, but it transforms into something that they can carry. And that's really what this script became for me. It started as one thing and became something more personal, something more human. It became a story of how loss shapes us, about the complicated ways we try to hold on to people after they're gone, and about how sometimes the only real closure that we get is the understanding that grief never fully leaves. It just becomes a part of who we are. I'd like to now introduce our actors, Anna Southern playing Lenora, Evian Castillo playing Mooney, and Cameron Callahan playing Bates. Because of its gruesome nature, Mooney's death has been omitted from this reading, and the excerpt is the last 10 pages of the script. So with that, I'm honored to share this piece with you. Thank you for being here, and I hope that Tangle resonates with you in some way. Interior, Mooney's bedroom, night, flashback. Mooney lays in bed, staring up at her ceiling. She hears a tap on the window. She gets up and opens it. It's Lenora.
Hey, Romeo, don't call me that. I'm definitely calling you that. Okay, Mooney Grace. You gonna let me in? Password? Clink? Clink.
She opens the window all the way and Lenora enters. Mooney flops down on her bed. Lenora lays her head in Mooney's lap and Mooney plays with Lenora's bracelet.
This box. Well, now I'm extra curious.
Exterior playground evening.
I never knew that she was...
She had a lot of secrets.
Exterior playground night flashback. Mooney leads Lenora to the playground, covering her eyes.
No peeking. Your clammy little hands are covering my eyes. There's no way for me to peek.
Mooney leads her to take a seat and uncovers her eyes.
Ta-da! Moon, this is the playground. Yes, but...
Mooney tilts Lenora's head up. A vast array of stars sits in the sky above them.
Wow. Right in front of you. How did you find this place? I come here a lot to escape. What do you have to escape from? Religious guilt. You believe in God? What? Why? I don't know. I just do. What? Nothing. There's obviously something, so just say it. I just don't understand how you can be with me and believe in God. I shouldn't have to defend my faith to you. I'm not asking you to. Yeah, you are. Whatever.
Mooney gets up and leaves.
Wait, Mooney, I didn't mean...
Yeah, you did.
Exterior playground night.
And I couldn't stop her from breaking it off with me. And then she met you. Something that I couldn't compete with.
What do you mean?
You're a guy, Bates, and you were perfect together.
We weren't.
You were...
I knew she didn't love me. She was preoccupied. I didn't realize until now that she was preoccupied with you.
She was not thinking about me.
Yes, she was. The last thing that she ever talked to me about was you.
It was Mooney's shirt. The day that you and I had the big argument, I was wearing Mooney's shirt.
Oh. She wanted to travel the world. She wanted to go to it.
Beach, where she could see her feet through the water.
You knew her really well.
Lenora picks up the journal and hands it to Bates.
I think I know what happened to me.
Lenora shows Bates the journal.
I haven't read it yet, but I bet it would confirm that they killed her. She wrote down everything.
This is such a violation of privacy. We shouldn't be doing this.
I think we're past the point of hurting people's feelings, right? We have to avenge her.
Oh my God, Lenora.
What?
Avenge? Really?
Okay, what words would you use then, huh?
I don't know. It just seems so dramatic when you put it like that.
Well, it is. Let's just read, okay?
They open the journal. Exterior playground night. Insert of journal. They flip to a random page and read it.
January 19th, 2023. Dear Diary, I love her. I really do. She's so attentive and beautiful in a weird way, but in a way that makes you just want to look at her forever. Then she's enigmatic. You never know what's going on inside of her head. And she's out there smarter than I can't be her right now. I just wish I wasn't so ashamed. I wish she knew that I was ashamed of me, not her. I just can't muster up the courage to hold her hand in public or kiss her in front of people. It makes her sad. I know it does. But I can't fix it and I can't tell anyone.
Bates skips pages ahead.
November 16th, 2024. Bates. Bates. Where to even start? He's so charming, but kind of intimidating. I really like him, but
The butt is scratched out. Another butt is written after.
no one can compare to Lenore. My Lenore. Or I guess she was my Lenore before I fucked it up. Bates. He's really kind and cool and funny and everything that I need. He's just not what I want. I can't get myself to love him.
It's okay.
Lenora skips forward to the most recent page.
February 26, 2024. Today I cheered. Or should I say it flew. Flying never gets easier and it never gets less terrifying. Speaking of terrifying, you will not believe what I saw today when walking to the bathroom to change out of my cheer uniform. Carter and Oliver. Oliver and Carter going at it, fully making out. But then they saw me and were like, "Look, killing you!"
Mooney's death scene here. Exterior, playground, night.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to fucking calm down.
You were the one that wanted this.
What?
To figure it out. Everything that we've done was to get to this point. You wanted this.
That didn't mean I can't be sad.
That's not fair that you dragged me into this.
Of course it's not fair. None of this is fair. It's not equal. She's dead. They killed her. Do you know what death is? It means she's not coming back.
I know.
She hated me. She died hating me.
She didn't hate you.
She did.
She didn't.
Bates hugs her.
I promise she didn't.
Exterior, football field, morning. Red and blue lights flash on Lenora and Bates's faces. Carter and Oliver, who are in their football jerseys, get put in handcuffs. Exterior, playground, day. Lenora and Bates sit on the swings.
I don't feel any better. Any less hollow.
The morning, I think it fades to gray, but it never leaves. It just changes into something we can stomach every day.
When did you become so wise? This is weird.
What is?
This whole situation. Trying to hang out when there's no purpose, no one to avenge.
I will kick you.
Are you having fun?
You don't like hanging out with me?
You're still my rival.
Lenora winks at him.
Shall we untruce the truce?
Touche.
They get up from their swings, shake hands, and walk away in separate directions.
Okay, there's plenty of time for Q&A. Did you have any particular inspirations for writing this?
Yes and no. So I really was interested in horror movies and wanted to write a horror movie. My favorite is The Conjuring, which is like not necessarily in the same vein as what I ended up writing, but I think a lot of horror, but then also like a lot of coming of age. Lady Bird was also a huge inspiration. I watched it like 5 times while writing this. So yeah, a little bit of both.
How was the process of this, of writing this while you were doing like your films and like while you were involved in other stuff?
It was a little bit stressful, but it was also really rewarding because all of the things that I was doing, I was really enjoying doing, and I felt passionate about all of the things. So not a lot of sleep, but a lot of joy. Yeah.
How did you go about choosing people to be your play?
So I'm friends with all of them. They're all in the theater department. And I originally had always seen Hevian as Mooney, even when I was writing it. And then me and Anna are super close, and so I just asked her. And then I was trying to think of a guy who like kind of gave like golden retriever energy. And so I chose Cameron. Yeah.
I probably missed the stage direction about this, but when you envision the film of this, the diary entries, do you see them as something you want to see in flashback or movies after you actually see a movie?
Yes. So originally I wanted it to be like they were reading it and then there was like voiceover work, but I think now that I've like fully fleshed out the entire thing from beginning to end, I would want it to be like a flashback where she's writing and like seeing all of these things. Yeah.
What is the big lesson you have learned for the future whenever you are going to write a script?
It's okay to be bad at first. When I first wrote this script and then turned it into Braun, it was quite bad. It was terrible. But I feel like through the revisions and through the editing process, I really learned like what my groove was and what I was good at writing and what I needed to let go of. There's this thing called killing your darlings where you like are really attached to something, but it just doesn't work with the script. And so I had to do a lot of that. So learning how to write bad so that I can learn how to write good is probably the biggest lesson.
What were some of the darlings, so to speak, that you wanted
There were like a couple of, Evian's laughing because she knows what I'm talking about. There was like a couple of lines that I was like really attached to, but once they were, because I had a bunch of read-throughs with them before the staged reading, and there was one about like, they were laying in bed and like Lenora asked Mooney like what her alien name was, and it was like really, really dumb, and so that had to be cut, and like a bunch of other silly stuff like that. Yeah.
Come on. When Indigo asked me to be their mentor, the very first thing that went through my mind was, really? Because I often go back to the very first moment I met Indigo in Playwriting 1, sitting in the first row with terror in their eyes. Because I always start off that class by sending a rather nasty email to all the students. And when I say nasty email, I say, oh, you've decided to take one of the hardest classes at the university. I like your moxie. Now I want you to read the syllabus backwards and be ready to answer any question I have for you on the first day of class. And yet, there was Indigo sitting right there in the front row, ready to rock. And in that class, I don't do things like quizzes or tests. I don't have anything along the lines of a final exam. I just want people to know on the first day of class, to quote the great poets, TLC, I want no scrubs. I will not tolerate that. I also don't know the rest of the lyrics to that song, so I'll stop it there for your benefit. But Indigo dived into all of the practices that we were looking at because writing a screenplay is hard. You need to have problem-solving skills. You need to have discipline. You need to be able to take all these things like writing isn't writing, writing is rewriting. You gotta kill your babies is the term I use, not kill your darlings. And then we came along with this screenplay, and as Indigo had indicated, I wanted it to be a horror movie. And we got to about the first week of March. We looked at each other and I think we really know what this story is all about. Using the techniques that I'm very proud to say Indigo has absorbed like a sponge, I think we have a really outstanding screenplay on our hands. I'm so very proud of you. You have done an absolutely wonderful job. I'm impressed that she got up here and used what some of my students call the Bronnyisms, and that being things like writing isn't writing, writing is rewriting. I really don't like much, but if you make me happy, I give you the Cookie Monster noise. Oh. And if on the rare occasion you impress me, I award you the Medal of Bronner. But as I sat here in the back watching this, I thought, we can't really have you leave the red doors without a final exam.
Okay.
And so I have decided for the first time in 16 years of teaching at this university that I'm going to have a final exam right now with Indigo. Okay, 5 feet, Joe, you got 5 feet. No one knows how much Indigo weighs because she won't tell me. But I'm gonna say what, 25 pounds? Why not?
Sure.
And so my final exam for you, outside of being an exceptional writer, an exceptional student, at 5 foot, 25 pounds, such a small frame, how does that frame carry such a big and beautiful heart? I want that in 30 pages, MLA formatting, on my desk by Friday. That is your final exam. And with that said, this is your Medal of Bronner. Good job.